Welcome back to GBN America. I'm Jake Rees-Mogg. I'm really very pleased to be talking to Professor Rachel Payne Caulfield about what's going on in Iowa. And I'm so pleased to be doing this because actually in 1988, I spent a couple of weeks in Iowa on Pete DuPont's Republican presidential primary campaign and managed to attend a caucus for the Democrats, of all people. It was a fascinating experience. So, Professor, this was years ago when I did this. What's the difference between a caucus and a primary? What will be going on in Iowa? And how immediate and personal is the politics going on there at the moment?
Well, most Americans will be familiar with the primary system, and the primary system is very much like voting. People go to their local polling place, they push a button or they fill in a little oval, and then they leave. The whole thing takes about 5 minutes. It's quick, and it's very just individual. One person in a booth filling out their ballot. In a caucus, as we do in Iowa, we hold party meetings. So everybody who's a member of a party, we come together in one place at one time. There are 1,700 local caucuses that'll happen across the state of Iowa on Monday night. And that makes it an intensely retail politics-based state simply because candidates have to really motivate their supporters to go out at 7 p.m. on a Monday night. In this case, it'll be a holiday. And everyone who's in that room will have a chance to express a preference for who they believe the party's nominee should be for president.
As I said, I went to a Democrat caucus in 1988 with a first cousin of my mother's who lives in Iowa. And it was absolutely fascinating because, as you say, they had to be motivated. And then they would divide into rooms for who was supporting which candidate. And they would encourage their friends to come with them. It's really personal, direct politics, isn't it?
It really is. It's vitally important in Iowa that campaigns, first of all, motivate their supporters to get out to the caucus on Monday night. But in addition, there are opportunities while you're in the room. People, normal people who are attending their caucus will stand up and speak on behalf of their preferred candidates. And so those networks among people, those friendships, community leadership positions, organizational affiliations, all of those things matter. So everyone in the room, it's an intensely personal process in the sense that there's a lot of personal relationship building in that room. And the campaigns really work to build a network of supporters, really including local activists in every small town across the state of Iowa. The one big difference this coming Monday night is that the Republican caucuses don't divide up in the room. They will do a secret ballot. Everybody in the room will have a chance to indicate their preference. They'll pass it forward, and that will be their mechanism of voting. Then they'll talk about the party platform. They'll elect delegates. They'll do party business.
And it's really interesting because the person who emerges from this often ends up being the leader of the free world, becoming the most powerful so far man in the world. And yet they go to coffee mornings with 50 people to try and get their votes in these caucuses. It brings that great office, that powerful office, down to the most immediate grassroots level. And I think this is a tremendously powerful aspect of American democracy.
I would agree completely with that. There's something really humbling about the fact that we have the opportunity to have these one-on-one interactions with presidential candidates. And I think it's really important. Anybody who's running for president of the United States, they should be able to be in a room with voters. They should be able to have that personal connection, to answer the tough questions, even if they think those questions are boring or repetitive or irrelevant. So that intensely human connection comes out of Iowa. We call it retail politics, and it's politics with a small p. It's person to person. It's actually going into small towns, diners, high school gyms, every event available opportunity that a candidate has to meet a voter right now. Events are getting a little bit bigger because we're in the final days. We have a lot of political sightseers across the state of Iowa right now, but we've been doing this for a year. So, for the past 11 months, we've had an opportunity to sit with candidates and actually get to know who they are as people.